Now, the latest letdown in the Palestinian Authority, PA President Mahmoud Abbas having just canceled the first Palestinian elections in nearly 15 years, and he's blaming Israel for his decision. But of course, there's more to this story than meets the eye. So here now with more on the canceled 2021 Palestinian elections, author and award-winning columnist for both J-Post and Al-Quds newspaper, Dr. Gershon Baskin. Thank you so much for being with us. Now let's start with the most basic question. Why is the election being delayed? Abbas is blaming Israel and voting restrictions in Jerusalem, but it's largely suspected that actually Hamas would win, and it's for this reason that Abbas canceled the vote.
I think it's a varied group of reasons that you've named, and they're all true. There's certainly fear that Hamas would perhaps have a better position in the outcome of the elections. I don't think anyone is projecting a Hamas victory. There are 31 lists that were registered to run in the elections, and there are at least 3 lists that are identified with the Fatah movement that Mahmoud Abbas heads. So I think that the fear was that their list would be split and they would get fewer seats. And other lists would get seats, and Hamas has a unified list, so they would get more seats. This is definitely a fear. The issue of Jerusalem is also central to the issue, although I think they could find ways of getting around it, allowing people to vote by mail, voting online, or voting in stations beyond the Israeli separation barrier. But Jerusalem is a central issue to the Palestinians, and once Israel refused to allow, or actually didn't even give an answer of whether or not Israel would allow voting to take place in Jerusalem, it was a convenient excuse for Abbas to cancel them.
All right, now, I read in a recent column of yours, actually, that you think Palestinian Authority President Abbas has overstayed his welcome. Do you still think that way, and who do you think should replace him?
Well, he's in the 14th or 15th year of a 4-year term, and I think the majority of Palestinians feel that he should step down. He's old, and he has monopolized Palestinian politics for a long time. It's important to remember that these elections that were just postponed were not for the position of president. Those elections are still scheduled to take place in July. Who should take over is a matter of choice for the Palestinian people. I think they need to have the right to have a democratic vote to decide who their leadership should be, and they should live with the consequences of those decisions. It's not for me as an Israeli to decide who the Palestinian leader should be.
So who do you think would have the best chance at coming out on top in the PA parliament?
It's very clear from Palestinian public opinion polls that the list supported by imprisoned Marwan Barghouti would have the best chance of replacing the Fatah list headed by Abbas. And when and if presidential elections take place, Marwan Barghouti from Israeli prison is the most likely outcome winner of those elections.
Would that be a functional government?
It wouldn't be a functional government, but it would be symbolic, and pressure would be applied on Israel to release Marwan Barghouti, which is exactly the point of why he's probably running after being in prison since 2002 for leading the Second Intifada.
All right. Well, thank you very much for shedding some light on this, Gershon Baskin.